Hi guys, I'm back with video number 2, and in this one we're gonna be coloring in our character. Here we're gonna give him a little bit of skin color, and we're gonna color in his suit and his bow tie, and then later on we'll do the eyes and then start animating. So you remember we have a few layers here, so we're gonna go on the body layer. This is where we're gonna do the coloring for the head and the suit. I'm gonna try to choose, let me go here, and I'm gonna choose the paint bucket, and you have to tap the paint bucket twice in order for you to get the opacity or threshold of the paint bucket or even the color. So we're gonna go ahead and choose a skin color first. I'm gonna go for something in between there, and I'm gonna make it a little bit of a dark tone right there. And so let me see how this works out on his head, and you can always test and see what you have. That's a little too dark. I'm gonna make it a little bit light. Let's see how that is. That's not very bad, but still, let me try out something else. That's actually good. I'll go with that one. And so that's for his head, and we're gonna make the nose a lot darker than that. So we're gonna go ahead and color in the nose as well. Oops, that was too much. We're gonna go ahead and color in the nose. I'm gonna make it a little bit actually lighter than that. Yep. That should be good. And we're gonna go ahead and choose a color for his suit. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a bluish suit right there. Let me see what it looks like in that. That should be good. Nothing fancy really. As a matter of fact, yeah, let me leave that one. It's kind of a black color. I kind of like it. So that is it, and we're gonna go ahead and give him a little bit of highlights and all that stuff, so he looks a lot better. And what I usually use for that is I use this highlighter they have. So when you tap on the tools you have over there, you have the highlighter or you have the brush. So I usually use one of those two to create my highlights. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and choose the color for it. I'm gonna go ahead and choose the color for it, which I want to be the same color as the head, but I'm gonna go ahead and make it a little bit brighter in order for me to do the highlights. So I'm gonna make it that bright, and I'm gonna make the light. Oops. I'm gonna make the light coming from this side. All right, so I'm gonna make it lighter on this side and darker on this side. So let's go ahead and give him a little bit of I'm gonna go ahead and decrease my brush and give him a little bit of light on this side. That's too much. Just a little bit of a touch to add a little bit of a painterly feeling to it. And this is where it would be so much easier if you were using a drawing program, say Procreate. But since this is not designed too much for drawing, you could create still convincing characters, but yeah, the tools you have are kind of limited, so you have to work with what you have. You gotta be very, very careful. But I usually add a little bit of shadows and a little bit of lights to my character, to make him look a lot better. And trust me, it's gonna look a lot. Okay, now that's way too lit. It's too lit, I believe. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker. So that's one way you could add shadows or light. I'm gonna show you another way. The other way is actually a lot easier. So you can go ahead and add another layer, and on that layer you can knock it down, the opacity, for example, up to 25%, 25%, and you can use black. And you can see, because it's the opacity is knocked down, when you go ahead and draw in it, it gives him very beautiful shadows. That's also another way you can add those. I actually use that a lot, more than, you know, choosing the color and knocking either the opacity up or down. So we're gonna go ahead and use this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring this, my tool, again, so I can make sure everything is a little bit uniform. And I'm gonna put it on the side of his head over there. That's a little too small. Make it a little bit bigger. And I want it to cut across like so. So I can draw one big ring like that. And get rid of my tool. Oops, that's too much. And I can shade in here to give him a little bit of the shadows. And you can see, because this is on a different layer, you get a chance to shade in, you know, without thinking about it too much. And at the same layer, we could use it to make shadows down here for his clothes. And you can see it's still the same black, but it shows up differently on different levels because it has the opacity knocked down. And you have to leverage these tools, guys. They'll help solve your problems a lot. For example, you can see that just one touch, it will help you. And there you go. Oops, I went into it. I don't know why I'm rushing today. And let's bring it out again and put it on this other side of the hand, of his torso. That's too much. It's allergy season, spring season, and I'm working from outside. I love working from outside. It makes the light very good, and it makes my life easier. I just like the open space when I'm working. So I work from outside here in the park. You can hear the cars go by and all that stuff. I like it. And we're gonna give him a little bit in the legs as well, and on the other side of the hand. So we're gonna go ahead and bring that back, and we're gonna go ahead and bring the pencil or the shader back. Twist him around a little bit. Give him a little bit of a shadow here, down under. That's good enough. Give him one little bit here on the leg. Actually, this is going to be different. I'm going to make it smaller up, and I'm going to make it big down. Like so. Like so. Let me get rid of that first. I just want to make sure everything stays a little bit angular and give it a little bit of that technical feeling and not paintery. That's the kind of the style I'm going for here. I need one more on this side. And this I understand you may be drawing with me, but this doesn't have to look exactly the same as yours. You could put shadows wherever you want them and not follow exactly as mine is going. All right. I just want to show a little bit of a direction there. And later on, what you could do is to get rid of some of the layers, because I understand some people's iPads may be a little bit weaker, or you may be doing it on your phone or something like that. You could merge some of these layers, and that will help you to have some of the layers merged in. I'm looking for a color for his bow tie. I'm gonna make it pure red. Oops, how did that happen? What layer are we on? Oh, we're on the shadows layer, so we're gonna go back to the body layer first and give him a bow tie. And now we can go back to our shadows layer, and we'll go back for this, and we'll give the bow tie a little bit of shading to it too. I'm gonna put it on this side. And I'm gonna bring my eraser and trim it down a little bit so it doesn't show through that stuff like that. You know, make it look a little bit cute. Makes your characters a lot more believable if they look a lot cuter. You can zoom in all the way and get down to the nitty-gritty of that pixel. And I was saying this is a raster, application. It's not vector. But yeah, that's starting to look really, really cute. And now, if you go back to the project settings, and you can change this background, you can see that our character is actually popping off the page, so it's looking good. We're gonna go ahead and go to this layer, the eyes layer, so we can color in his eyes as well. And here we're gonna go again for our paint bucket, and we're gonna give him bluish eyes to continue with our blue theme for the clothes going on here. So those are gonna be a little bit, no, actually let's make this a little light, and let's make the inner part a lot darker. A little bit darker than that. Some people usually make this part of the eye black. I don't do that. I usually give it a little bit of a color to it. And now we're gonna go here and bring out our inker. We're gonna give it a white color, whitish gray, so we can give him a little bit of a reflection in his eyes. Let me see how that looks. That ain't bad. I'm gonna do it on this side as well. Decrease the size all the way to 1. Give him a little sparkle in his eye. And you can see how that makes your entire thing pop out a lot better. It makes it look, a lot cleaner, and it gives it some life. It gives it some life to it. And I always like that. So I'm going to go back here to the shadow layer, which is layer number 5. And I'm going to go back to my tools here. I'm going to bring the shader. And I'm going to give a little bit of a shadow to the eye as well. I'm going to give it on the top side of the eye right here. Oh, okay. So I know exactly what's happening because the shadow layers underneath the eye, that's why it wasn't showing up. So I moved it to the top of the eye layer so I can see this little bit of a shadow that I want to put in his eye. Take shape about there. And slowly but slowly you'll figure it out that to create a convincing character, you don't have to be to create a convincing character in FlipaClip, you don't have to be a master drawing. You just have to pay attention to what you're doing and know what your character needs to be believable. That's all you need. Let me see how that looks. No, that's not good. I'm gonna try to get it around there. And on this side around there. No, that's not correct. Turn it around a little bit around there. Yeah, that will be good. I'm gonna get my eraser and I'm gonna delete this. You're gonna be a little bit consistent there. I'll bring back my shader, fill that up. And that's convincing enough. But we have that part of the eye that we haven't shaded in yet. So I'm gonna go back to the paint bucket and I'm gonna look for a grayish. I never still paint that part of the eye white. I usually, now I'm making sure I'm on the right layer, I usually paint it a little bit of a grayish color, not white, not pure white. And you can see, so when we finally blink those eyes, you'll see that that will close off. The eye will close off and shut like, let me show you where it will shut like. It will shut like around here. That will be his shutting line. And you can see our character is starting to take shape. He's starting to look really, really cute. We're going to go back on the shadow area too and add a little bit of a shadow onto his, onto his nose and a little bit on the lip area. Let me make sure we're in level. We're on 5. Layer number 5 where our shadow is, and a little bit on the lips. gonna grab my eraser again. Make it a little smaller so I can shave this off a little bit. And that will be fine. Let me go in here to round it off a little bit in his nose. And that looks pretty good to me. And still on the shadow layer, let's put a little bit in his eyebrows. And so you can see, if you just saw this character from somewhere, you'll be like, that's an easy character. They just went whip and it was done. But that's not how it works. Even a simple character like that to look alive, you have, and believable, you have to put some work into it. And now there's a layer that we don't need anymore, which is gonna be the sketch layer. We can turn it off all the way. And you can see what we have right now. This is what we have right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ground him. We're gonna put a little bit of a shadow on him. And in the next video, we will be animating him. And we're gonna do a blink cycle. And later on, we'll make him say some words and maybe tilt his head a little bit. And that will be the whole animation that we're gonna be doing. And you guys are very good. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll please ask if you could just help me and give this guy a name. Give him a name, please. I'm adding another layer here, layer 6, on which I'm gonna be drawing the shadow for this guy. So we can ground him. And he appears to be standing on the ground when we put a shadow. So that right there is going to be our shadow. Let me go ahead and bring the inker. Oof. We need black. Let's fill it in. You know what? Let me stay still here. Let me increase it to about 9. Ooh, that's too big. Let's put it on about 2. No, that's too small. 3. Yeah, 3 feels good. And let's fill it in. Let's forget about that. Let's fill it in. There we go. And I'm gonna grab my eraser. I want a really big brush. Oops, that eliminated it completely. I was trying to play around with the shadow a little bit so I don't have just a dark shadow, but I don't like it. No, I definitely don't like that effect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna forget doing that, and I'll just go to that level and knock down its opacity a little bit, maybe up to 69%. And I'll go and bring my shader. I'll go back into it. And make sure it doesn't have these little white spots in it. Get rid of all of them. And there you go. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll be back in the next video when we'll be starting to animate this guy. And for now, bye-bye.